morning, friends and family. John Miller, your Lake Stevens Realtor, coming at you here on September 14th, a Monday. Hope everyone's enjoying the start to school here. We've obviously had a lot of wildfires. It's keeping a lot of smoke in the air. That's been very frustrating here over the last several days. Didn't do a video last week. It was Labor Day, so I took the day off. So it's just good on me. I was able to actually take the entire day off. Anyway, a few things today. Quick market update. One of the things we're seeing, a few of you know that I've got a pretty big deal I'm working on. It's almost $2 million sale here in Lake Stevens. I've been doing a lot of research on similar properties here in the area, and I do have a few buyers that are looking at properties like that. And the market for that particular product, over $1 million here in the area, has increased dramatically. And a lot of that's due to the exodus of people moving out of the city centers, Seattle primarily. And they're looking for large properties with privacy and acreage, usually here in Snohomish and Skagit counties. Normally we have almost a year of inventory for $1 million plus properties. That means you, on average, is going to take about a year to get your home sold. For instance, earlier this year, about in March, there were about 8 or 9 months of inventory, which makes sense. Coming out of the winter, you usually have low inventory. Right now, we have 6 weeks of inventory for $1 million plus properties, which is it's unheard of. That's very, very a very, very strong market. So if you have property like that and you're looking to turn it, you're looking to make a switch, this is a pretty good time to do it. We've got about another 60 days of market here in the Northwest before the weather starts to turn and we start moving into the holiday seasons, and the market does tend to slow down at that point. But we are expecting another 60 days of a very strong market. So obviously, you look at the interest rates, look at that 2.86 on a 30-year fixed, unbelievable. Anyway, the question today comes out of Lake Stevens, Washington, and the question is, what are seller-paid concessions? When people say, buyer or seller-paid closing costs or buyer closing costs, what does that mean in the way of a purchase agreement? Well, basically, that means, and by and large, they're all negotiable. Now, there are some loans, like VA loans, where the funding fee and the escrow fee has to be paid by the seller. And that is sometimes a surprise to some sellers that, gosh, if I'm paying my escrow fee, why do I have to pay theirs? Well, that's how the loan was set up. So obviously the seller can entertain whatever terms they want. They don't have to agree to anything really when it comes right down to it. But the reason that seller-paid concessions exist is the following. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. Buyers are typically cash poor when it comes to making an offer on a piece of property, especially first-time home buyers. Most of their cash is going to be tied up in down payment, and that's not what we're talking about when we talk about seller-paid concessions. That doesn't go toward down payment. It goes to their closing costs, loan fees, escrow fees, any other fees that are associated with the purchase of the property. They're usually lender-driven, not things like inspection and things like that. Generally not. The sellers have the equity. They have all their costs are coming out of their proceeds. Sellers aren't writing checks during the course of a sale of their property. So it puts the buyer and seller at odds. The buyer needs the cash. Seller has a very good cash position, or will at closing. So what the buyer says, hey, I need help with the sale of the costs involved in the purchase. Will you contribute a portion toward my closing costs? And many sellers are willing to do that to facilitate the transaction. Many times the sales price is adjusted upwards to allow for that. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It doesn't really matter. It's again negotiated between buyer and seller. But that's really the reason. It's because the buyers are cash poor coming into that equation. If you have any questions regarding that, let me know, and I'm very happy to answer them. That is it for this week. Wherever we are, stay safe. I think the warning on the air quality, I think, exists through tomorrow. So try to stay indoors, keep your windows closed. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next week.